Hey, what's up, Josh Thomas? I think we finally got everything going here. Can I get an audio check from the gang here? Just want to make sure everything sounds good while we're letting everybody file in here. Going to give everybody about 5 minutes to get in, and we're going to start firing away here. How you doing tonight, Josh? PJ, I don't want to hear nothing out of you. Boy, talk about ugly. How's them shins looking, dude? My guy PJ here plays a cold middle. I bet that dude wore probably, God, what was it, PJ? Probably 5 or 6 balls off of your shins this weekend. That's something I may talk about here a little bit, actually, in this podcast. Hopefully that, okay. In that podcast, everybody complains about the 44s and how, it sucks to hit a 52 and stuff like that. But I feel like stuff like this weekend is a prime example of how the 44 can be a dangerous ball. I'll get into that a little later. I'm going to go ahead and write that down so I don't forget. Let's see. I'm just going to write PJ's shins. What's up, Fat Guy BP? Hey, check it out, dude. I watched your Freak Black video. Liked it, man. Forget it's what we was kind of expecting. Just kind of not necessarily anything like the old bats. They get us so good with that stuff that we get all excited, think it's going to be something new, and turns out it's just the same old, same old. For those that don't know what I'm talking about, head over to YouTube, hit in that search bar, Fat Guy BP. Check out his review. He did a review of the new, what is it they call it, the reissued Freak Black or whatever it is. Let's see. Oh, PJ says he split his toenail directly down. I'm not going to lie. I kind of want to see that. Maybe if you send it to me, I'll get it put up on the screen here so everybody can dig that. Scott wants to know, best of 2019 coming. Yep. It'll be right at the end of the year, just like it is every year. I don't know how long you've been subscribed to the channel, but I wait until I'm absolutely done with 2019s before I do this video, just to make sure, I'm not missing anything or leaving anything out or anything like that. Brian Fisk says, where's Dave? Dave's out playing softball, man. It's league night. Got my wife and Brian out there playing with him tonight. I'm at home trying to be responsible, and got the kids in bed in the other room. Got the dogs somewhere. I'm sure they're going to bomb this here pretty soon. I'll be real quick. PJ, if you hadn't mentioned it, I wouldn't have even remembered. So my guy PJ this weekend, after the games concluded, it's just after a game concluded, we played for those that don't know, we played. God dang, that's bright. For those that don't know, we played NSA Worlds this weekend in Happy Rock. And my guy PJ went to go fetch some home run balls after the game. God, where's that at? Don't tell me I'm not going to be able to find it. That's going to drive me crazy if I can't. Let's see. Oh, man, that's going to drive me crazy. Where's that at? I know where to find it. Here we go. All right, got the audio. Let's see. Let's do. Is it this one? Yeah. Check my guy out right here. Out here retrieving home run balls after the game. He's gonna climb the fence, right? These fences were short, by the way. These fences, God, they felt like they were 3 freaking feet tall, which they very well could have been. But my guy PJ here going to get home run balls after the game. Splat. Hey, he played it off like a champ, though. And you know what? Here's the deal, chat. Everybody's a liar if they say they've never been there. I can tell you that right now from experience. Let's see, what did we do? We went 1-3 at Worlds. We got 4 games in. Kind of a so-so weekend for us. We only had 10 guys. Went through a lot of adversity. It's kind of not really something I really want to deal with in this podcast tonight. I just kind of want to chill, answer some questions. Scott Stronzy brings up the U-Trip stamp thing. I can't believe I forgot to write that down. I'm gonna make a video on that at some point that goes a little further into detail. Kind of break down Wegman's email that he sent out about that, and kind of my thoughts on all that stuff. I need to sit down and do that. Just something I want to do in its own separate video. Just kind of my opinions on it and thoughts on it. I'll give you just a kind of a brief rundown of what I'm thinking when it comes time for that. Oh, you sent me a picture of your toenail too, bro? All right, if anybody's squeamish, look away because I'm looking at the picture of this toenail. Hopefully you ain't sent me nothing weird in a while. Let's check out the toenail. Oh, it's not going to load. I'll give it a minute, see if it'll load or not. I did say I was going to start at 9:45, but it's 9:47. I'm such a liar. I don't know, PJ. Your toe's so ugly, I can't even get the picture to load. So I guess we're just going to roll with it. I will just get started here just with a few Q&As. I see a few that are rolling in, so I'm going to go ahead and get started with those, cover a few of my topics, and we'll top off with some more Q&A to get this podcast finished up. My wife should be home from league. I'm thinking I'm going to time this just about right, I'm hoping. She's going to get home from league about 45-ish minutes. I'm thinking she'll be home by about 10:30, which is about a 45-minute podcast. Perfection. So let's get started. Let's see. Best bet of 2019 coming. Where's Dave? Answer that one. What is the tournament you look forward to most every year? Troy Strawn says. For those that I'm sure probably know already, if you're local, Home Runs for Heroes is probably one of my favorite tournaments ever. Next year will be the 10th. This coming year is the 9th year. Next year will be the 10th year that they've had this tournament, and it has grown an insane amount every year. It went from, gosh, I remember the first year there was, what was like 8 or 10 teams or something crazy. It wasn't a whole lot. We went from that to, I think they got almost 100 teams last year, combined between, they do a men's upper, let me do this, a men's upper, a men's lower, then a co-ed upper, a co-ed lower, and then they do a beer league, which is like E-League, and they also did women's. They did women's the last 2 years, which is cool to see. The women's game has been evolving around the mid-Missouri area, especially around like Kansas City. The Kansas City area, U-Trip has a huge following. It's awesome. I wish a little more of that influence could kind of spread over into Columbia, and not to beat the dead horse for any locals here, but I'm not talking the U-Trip ball in league, because I think the U-Trip ball in Columbia League, in every league but the B League, is a terrible idea, and there's no point in doing one ball change for one league out of everything that happens out there. Just stick with the 52. People want to hit a hard ball and they want to have fun. Well, hit a 52 and have just as much fun. If you don't like how the ball flies, hit it better. If you can't hit it better, go practice. That's really my input on that. I guess for just to keep everybody in the loop with what I'm talking about here, we do hit 52 300 balls in league. You can use any bat, ASA or U-Trip, minus the however many it is, like 9 or 11 bats that are on the banned list. But outside of that, it is ASA play, with the exception being that you can swing any bat you want. And there's been a lot of stink about, teams not signing up and this and that and whatever else. But I think a lot of it has to do with other things outlying, not necessarily the fact that they're hitting a 52-300 ball. It's never been an issue until somebody got a taste of a hard ball and started bringing that propaganda back to Columbia with them. But to come back full circle there, Home Runs for Heroes is definitely my favorite tournament of the year. Really looking forward to it this year. I'm going to try and vlog again this year. I know you guys enjoyed that, so we're going to hit that up and check it out. Let's see. Do I subscribe to any conspiracy theories? See, I love questions like this. It doesn't have to be softball all the time. I love it. There was one at one point I almost thought about doing like a Q&A that couldn't be softball related. Man, I'm telling you what, 'cause I can get into some deep thinking stuff sometimes. Really, when it comes to conspiracy theories or things like that. I'm not huge on conspiracy theories. Obviously, 9/11's coming up tomorrow. There's some guys at work talking about conspiracy theories about things like that, but I don't get too far into that kind of things. I mean, you kind of put me on the spot with the conspiracy. It's good. I like that. I'm going to kind of mull on that and come back to it. I may even cover that in the next podcast if I can think of any. Conspiracy theories, I'm not a big fan of. More what I get into is like superstitions. I'm very superstitious. Like if something works one time, I'll keep doing it until it doesn't work. And even sometimes after it does work, I'll keep doing it because it worked that one time. So I'm definitely more of like a conspiracy or a superstition kind of guy. Like when I played high school baseball, I had to have the same seat on the bus every time. I would sit in the same seat no matter what. Nobody could sit with me. I had to sit in a certain spot on the seat. And I didn't listen to any music or anything, but I would always have to have a banana and a Gatorade before every game. Didn't matter what color Gatorade, but I would have to have a banana and a Gatorade before the game, or I would play like crap. And if I didn't get my banana and my Gatorade, I was one grumpy motherfucker. Oop. Well, whatever. It's late. The kids ought to be in bed, right? I was one grumpy motherfucker. So that one kind of worn off. I have a few for slow pitch. Nothing too dire. I guess one big one would be. I'm trying not to like make myself. I'm busy reading the comments here, getting distracted. One big one would be I have to have a pre-swing. Some people can I don't know how people do it. Some people can just step in the box and just go for it. They can take a pre-swing. They can go do a cartwheel and they get in the box. Like I've got to be in the box. I've got to get in there a certain way before I can even do anything. And I've got to do my pre-swing before. That's been a big one for me lately. They've kind of came and gone throughout the years, but that's really my big one right now. I got to have a certain pre-swing, and the certain pre-swing's got to feel a certain way. If it doesn't feel right, I'll do another one. Sometimes it'll look kind of funny sitting there. Sometimes I'll do it 2 or 3 times just to like get that right feel in my head, and then I still go in the box and pop out. So that's pretty cool. Speaking of popping out, check this out here in a minute. Let's see, Kyle Herman. What up from Pennsylvania? Hitting dingers and hitting corn dogs. Hell yeah, man. Everybody likes a good corn dog. The mini corn dog's where it's at. Dipping on barbecue sauce. Woo! That's where it's at for me. Let's see. Ben Wood. Hey, I told you I'd give you a shout out, dude. I told you I'd give you a shout out if you were here. Everybody say what's up to Ben Wood, checking out the chat. He says, oh, that's kind of late. I may not be up. Man, get out of here. You're in here and you know it. You're probably going to sit here and listen to this whole thing too. Jeremy Lane, what's up, buddy? See you in here hanging out. Anarchy Viper Border Battle will be coming soon. I got some film shot on it. I'm going to send it out back to its owner tomorrow and get that sent back. So I've got a couple bats over here on the counter. But just to give you an idea of what I do have coming, I'm going to have the 2020 Dale Brungart ASA model, which I'm considering a 2019. We talked about the batless stuff earlier. Dude, those things came out in like June. That's not a 2020 in my eyes. That's a 2019. The same with the Adidas. The Adidas is technically modeled as a 2020. Dude, it's 2019. That bat came out in freaking February. I'm considering it for the 2019 list. So, don't be surprised if you see that bat on there and think, oh, what the heck? That's a 2020. Well, I'm not playing that game. I'm not doing all that. I'm not going to get that technical with it. But see, I've got the Board Battle Viper. I've got the Pure Sports Meltron coming up. Got both the Short Barrel Super Freaks the highlighter series. What is it? The legit and I guess it's not a super freak. I've got they're sitting over here on the counter. Sorry, I'm looking over here. I've got the highlighter edition, the Worth short barrel, and then the Mikan short barrel. Let's see what else. I feel like I got something else coming down the pipe too, but I cannot remember what. I've got so much stuff going on right now. It's been kind of hectic. I've been on day shift. For those that don't know, I work nights, and I get some free time in the mornings to go hit with somebody or come home and, kind of grind out a few hours working on some videos and getting content ready. But I've been on day shift for the last 2 weeks, so my schedule is just like is just like a complete 180 right now because usually when I get home, I got 2 or 3 hours to myself to kind of do my thing and get stuff done around the house and then go to bed, sleep until the kids get home. Oh my gosh, okay. Sleep until the kids get home, but what the real issue is right now is just trying to get settled into just coming home. Like basically when I get home, the kids are home right after me. And it's not that I mind. I don't mind at all. I absolutely love being on first shift and, seeing my kids and my wife every night and going to bed and not having to go to bed when they, go to work when they go to bed and all that stuff. It's just kind of a different feel for things. I haven't figured out how I need to allot time for this stuff yet. She's at league tonight, so that could obviously free up a little bit of that. But this is only like a 1 or 2 week thing, and then I've got to go back to midnights. Dying to get on day shift, but you know how it is. Once you get there, it seems like you're stuck there forever. Let's see. Scrolling down through here. It says, show idea. What are some of the best non-softball marketed items that people use? Man, Brent, you are... Brent's been all over this one for a while now. Like 3M spray, various turfs, or like the Solomons or trail shoes, 3M friction tape, stuff like that. You could probably definitely get into some at least. I mean, would you consider, if you're still watching, answer this. Would you consider like the bat racks that are made out of PVC? I mean, is it a non-softball marketed item or is it a softball marketed item because you make it into one? See, there's a few different routes you could go with that. That could be something interesting though, for sure. So Troy Strawn says, last week I spoke with Jerry sitting at 75 teams for Homes for Heroes. Yeah, and I need to get my team signed up before I sit around and drag my feet and they decide that they don't want to, take more teams. What kind of screwed me though was the fact that, sorry, I'm trying not to get frustrated. What got me with this year, I had my team put together, I had everything ready to go, and then I don't know where they spring on us, hey, we're starting Friday. It's going to run all the way through the night. It's like, oh, cool, no big deal. And I mentioned it to the group, and everybody's kind of about it. I ended up losing 2, possibly 3 guys due to this midnight thing, or due to this starting Friday night and running through the night thing. It kind of sucks. I mean, it's cool. I get it, and I totally get it. Just because you want to try and cram everything in there and get as many teams as you can. It is a fundraiser tournament. But it's just kind of frustrating to get everything set in stone. And I guess the big thing with me is, telling all these guys, oh, we're playing Saturday, starting Saturday morning. And then we ended up just playing, they're just going to start at Friday and run it just all day long through the night. Stand by for just a second, though. I'm going to go right here. Got to do something real quick. Fire away with some questions while I'm doing it. Okay, I'm back. I wanted to get this different microphone boot on here just so I can get an idea how close I am to my microphone. It's black. It's kind of dim in here. I felt like I was bumping it. I was bumping the microphone a lot. So I wanted to kind of switch it up there and quit doing that because I'm sure, I don't know if that kills your guys' ears or not, but I could only imagine that it does. So got that fixed. Back to what we're doing here. How does one put their foot down as a coach without running players off? Man, if the player leaves and the player doesn't understand what it takes to be a coach, bottom line, that's personally kind of my opinion on that is you are the coach. It's you calling the shots. Maybe if it's not the right decision for the team, somebody could say, hey, I don't think this is a good idea. Can we entertain this? And as a coach, it's your job to hear out the team and listen to different ideas and things like that. But, if it's like, hey, no drinking until, the day's over with, or no drinking until noon, or, try and at least match your uniforms, whatever the situation may be. If your team's not willing to listen, then, you're better off without that player on the team. They're not a team player. The player's there to play for the team. The player's not there for their convenience. Best bat for an SB12 softball, for those that don't know. It's like a cork center softball, for those that don't know. The most heaviest end-loaded thing you can find, without a doubt. It's the only thing that's going to make that junk ball go anywhere. If you get blisters on your hands too often, does that mean you take too much BP? No, not necessarily. I mean, can you see? You can see it a little bit. I had calluses on my hands for years. Oh, come on, camera. Okay, thank you. I thought my camera wasn't going to focus back in. I had calluses on my hands for years just from working kind of a pretty physical job before I transitioned to where I'm working now. And I still keep that callus because that's right where the knob, right, or the I guess that is technically where the knob sits in my hand, is right where that blister sits on my pinky, because I drop a pinky off the bat. And I actually ripped that off the night before Worlds. So that was pretty cool. But, I mean, it's just something that kind of happens. I think some of it would have to do with the grip. Some people that use stock grips don't run into that issue a lot. Because like my buddy Brian that I BP with, play ball with him, he never gets a lot of blisters, but he also uses original grips on all of his bats. I'm a athletic tape and 3M spray kind of guy, and that's going to eat through your hands pretty quick. PJ, I would not get you a vlog camera for Home Runs for Heroes. OTEB 2535. Favorite beer? Probably Michelob Golden Light. Either I'm torn between the Golden Light or the Pure Gold. I really like the Pure Gold. I just haven't decided which one I like more yet. But both are amazing. Speaking of which, I guess I could have a beer, but the fridge is all the way over there. I'm not going to keep you guys waiting again. Oh, man, I lost my spot here. Okay. I'm going to do just a few more of these because I'm almost caught back up, and then I'll kind of get into just a few things I want to discuss, and we'll go from there. BP video. I'll bring you a 24-ounce bat. You bring me a 30-ounce bat. No dinger derby. I mean, yeah, it's going to be fine. I can't hit a dinger with a freaking 24-ounce bat anyway. I can't hit one with a 30 either, so. I don't know. I'll never understand the whole light bat thing. I got stuck swinging a 26 this weekend, which is another thing that I have on my list here of things to talk about, is the absolute nuclear meltdown I had this weekend. I got stuck swinging a 26 at a world tournament. Dude, nightmare. Absolute nightmare. Which we'll blame on Gabe, but we'll cover that in a minute. Uh-oh. Oh, man, the phone's blowing up here. Okay, nothing important. Let's see. Came with some Mickey's D breakfast burritos right now. You've been watching the vlogs, haven't you? I haven't had one of those in a minute. I may have to see if the old lady will grab me one on the way home. Have it as a rite of passage for the podcast. Let's see. I should try the Boombah Boss 5.0 U-Trip. I didn't even know Boombah was coming out with another bat. They sent me, when they did their 4.0 and their T3, they actually sent me those to try out before they even came out. I thought that was really cool. They sent those to me to try out before they even dropped. It's probably the first time I've had a bat that was like, oh, what is it? And I was like, it's a Boombah T3. Oh, what is it out yet? It's like, no, it don't come out for another 2 months. But I had one. It was certed, ready to go. I had a stamp on it and everything. So that was pretty cool. But the guy that I was in communication with there at the company that was getting that stuff for me is not with the company anymore, from my understanding. So I'm not sure. I haven't heard anything from him since, really, because they sent me those. They sent me a couple more. I did reviews on those too. Then I passed them on to people that just needed a bat. Somebody was like, "Hey, I need to buy a bat. Don't have a lot of money." Either or someone that just really enjoyed it. Just take it. They were gracious enough to send it to me. The least I can do, and they didn't want it back, so the least I could do was pass it on. What I was swinging at the time, there was no way I was putting it down. Those were great bats. Not necessarily my cup of tea, but I wanted to make sure that someone got to enjoy them. Now, the T3 I did send to a friend of mine. I've actually got it back. I thought about doing like a I don't know necessarily like a long-term update or whatever you want to call it, but it's because it's been almost 2 years, but I've still got that thing, and it is insane. I don't know if anybody in here has swung the T3s or messed with any of those, but they are a lot of fun. Brent says, are you complaining about being on days? Absolutely not, sir. It's kind of screwing me up. I just got to get used to it. That's all. Weighted warm-up bats, a jimmer stick, help or hurt your bat. To an extent. There was a guy that I played with one time. He had a jimmer stick. It was okay. I think the prices for the jimmer sticks are absolutely unreal. Those things are like $60 or $70 for a hunk of for metal rod that's welded together with some spray paint slapped on it. And, I understand that those things are heavy and it's going to cost a lot to ship them, but, man, just grab a donut or two or something, not a eating donut, because I figured somebody was going to say it. Just grab a donut, grab a weight, do something. I don't think I could justify $60 or $70 or however much they are for a jimmer stick. It was okay. The donut option obviously is a lot better. Just slide it on the bat and go. I do like to do something just to kind of get my hands loose. I don't like to swing it around and do a whole lot of stuff with it. Uh-oh, here we go. Live action. Hey. See, I don't like to do a whole lot of stuff, just kind of something to get my hands loose. I kind of stand there with it in my hands because I don't really want to swing it and get myself too opened up. What are you doing? Oh my gosh. Yeah, she's being all weird because the camera's on, like she's never been on camera before. But yeah, anyway, weighted bats, they're okay to get loose, just don't go overkill. I feel like you could really screw your timing up. What are some of the best batting gloves you used? Most durable batting gloves you've used, or best gloves you used for hitting? Not necessarily great for field, but lots of reps in BP. Definitely just got to be some leather work gloves. The only thing that really holds up for me is, like I said, I use a lot of tape and spray, and it just eats batting gloves alive. I haven't used them in a while, though. Just if you follow my podcast at all or anything like that, just the work gloves kind of became too mainstream. I don't know. I don't like doing that stuff. I like to be different. So I just kind of went back to using some regular batting gloves. I found a couple that did okay for me, nothing great. But if I did have my choice, I thought about just busting out the old work gloves again just because. But just find some thin leather gloves. They make them, they're still thin, but you can still kind of feel what you're doing in them. That's definitely what I would suggest if you have trouble going through a lot of gloves. How many cuts for a good BP session or each round? It just depends. Like when Brian and I hit, sometimes if I don't have any filming to do, or if we're getting ready for a tournament, or even sometimes just depending on how we're feeling, maybe like a day after a tournament, I'll do, we'll do like rounds of 10. I've got 2 giant bags of balls. I've probably got 175 softballs. So we'll just do like 10s and flip flop, either that or just hit like a half bag. So maybe 30, 40 swings and then switch to do it that way. But, I used to when I was young. I used to just go out there and I feel old saying that. When I was young. God, what an old piece of crap. Be playing the senior league before you know it. But, I used to go out there and I would stand there and swing until my arms fell off. Like if there was a ball left, I was hitting it. And she's over here. She's not going to want to come over here. But she'll tell you that's how it was. Like if there was a ball left in sight, I'm hitting it and I'm not getting out of the box until someone throws it to me. Let's see. I'm going to do one more here. Step 20. Keep it. Check out the Fireflex 4 into house yet to swing. No, it is not. I've got a potential lineup on one. I need to reach out to them and see if that could be a possibility to get some swings in with it. But nothing set up with the Fireflex 4 yet. But digging the Eastons this year. I can't wait to try it out. Okay, just one more here. Actually, you know what? Brent with the NFL. All right. Stuck between the KP23 or a Primo Max Load. Like both short barrels and long barrels. Definitely jumping up to a 28 this time, though, instead of the light stuff. Like you'll talk about, I'm sure. Man, really, it just depends. I know you're wanting to go up and weight and everything else, but unless you're, I don't know what you're swinging now, but unless you're ready for like a big shock, I would probably go with the KP23 Because sorry, you did say Primo Max Load. Okay. I thought you said Primo Super Max. I read it too fast. I personally prefer the shorter barrel of the Freak 23, but the nice thing about the Primo Max Load is it says 14-inch barrel, but I think it's like a 33-inch barrel. Dude, you just cannot miss with that thing. Like, I swear I could spin it around in my hands and hit a ball with the handle and still hit it well. Just those bats are so unforgiving. It is insane. All right. Let me jump into just a couple of things here that I do want to talk about. You guys were asking how NSA Worlds went for me this weekend. Like I said, as a team, we went 1-4. We had some tough losses. We started the day with a walk-off loss in 7 innings. We got up on a team. PJ, if you're still listening, how many runs were we up on that team by? I want to say we were up by, gosh, it had to be 10 or 12 runs, maybe even more. And actually ended up losing the game. They just kind of rallied back and put us away in the bottom of the 7th. So that was tough. And then had to come off of that game. Sorry the camera keeps getting in and out too. I don't have anything for like a steady source of light behind me, so it's kind of hit or miss. But so we went from the game we got walked off on immediately into the next game. Same field, literally. I mean, they cleared the dugout, filled it back up, and we took off again. Played a 10-inning game and lost it too. It wasn't in a walk-off. We just came up short in the last inning, which is something I will discuss here because I will tell you right now, these games will be on the channel tomorrow, and I have zero humility about what I'm about to show you. It's just all part of the game. Like I said, I picked a terrible day to have a terrible tournament is basically what it boils down to. So with no further ado, let's dive into that real quick. Let's see, landing fitness versus chaos. Shut that off. I'll turn this down just a little bit for you guys. So, let's see, our first goodie is at 52.30. What do we got here? Oh, yeah. So this ball here. So I see Nate Thomas. I don't know if Nate watches my channel or not. He's a guy from Kansas City. Great hitter, good dude. He's playing the middle here. And I see him in one of my other at-bats. I saw him leaning. I saw him leaning again here too. So I thought, all right, just roll this ball through this hole and you're on. I saw him. I could already see him. You can already see him kind of leaning that way. Pitch is throwing. He's leaning. So I'm like, roll it through there. So I hit it. Oh, burns me up. So I hit it, knowing he may not get to it. I see it roll up the heel of his glove. Sorry if I'm kind of ADHD in here. See it roll up the heel of his glove. I think, all right, it's through. I'm on. So I just look down and just start jogging, and then I hear somebody go, run, got to get there. And, I look up, and the shortstop's throwing the ball, and I had absolutely no idea what happened. I came home and watched this play because I had no idea what happened. Then I almost killed myself because there's 60-foot base pegs right here, somewhere right in here, and the ground raises right there, and then there's a dip, and then there's the 70-foot pegs, and in kind of in between it's not obviously like I'm like a big speedster, but in between my jog of trying to get to first, I stepped up on the 60-foot and then down, and when my foot went down, man, I felt like my entire back like accordion because my foot went down too far. That was an awkward feeling, but that kind of burned me up though, thinking man, I got him beat. That's what you get for cheating on me. Rolled that ball through there, and then he just, basically just hands it off for the assist right to the shortstop, and the rest is just good old history. The first baseman made, I couldn't tell you how many digs over there between the 2 games that we played them. He saved them a lot of outside day. And then probably my low light of the day. I don't know. This is a tough one or two here. Probably my dirt moment of the day for sure. So here we are. I think we're down 3 runs, maybe 2. At this point, we're out of home runs. Bottom of the 10th. You boys stepping in the box. Runner on first. 1 out. The pitch. Wasn't having it. Wasn't having it. Tried to get that time. Just humiliating. Wow. At a world tournament, you're doing this crap. I mean, what else do? You just sit back and enjoy the moment, I guess. Try and make light of somewhat of a bad situation. Old Kurt was locked in that day. I'm sure he was aggravated with the way I hit that day. But he still managed to crack a smile there a little bit through that big burly beard of his. Then probably the other, like, who the hell is this guy and where did you find him moment came. Let's see, we got Chaos. $24. Oh, yeah, right here. Oh, yeah. And if you listen real close, I'm going to turn the sound back up so you can hear it. Two guys on, 2 outs. Big hack right here, right? I disagree with that pitch, by the way. Thought it was kind of flat. Turd. And yet another one where lack of hustle got me. I'm kind of telling myself here, I guess.
Oh my fucking God.
I thought he was going to catch it, so I didn't even think to run. And by the time I realized what was happening, it was already too late. Honestly, this was just poor sportsmanship on my part, being a bad teammate. Hit like crap all day long. This was our third game. We actually ended up winning this game. Thankfully, the rest of the team carried us. But it was just not a good day. If you listen real close here.
Oh my fucking God.
Right here. Brian back there laughing in the background. Dude, I'm going to slap you next time I see you. Not cool, dude. So yeah, it was a doozy day of softball for me for sure. It was so weird because that is probably one of the biggest mental meltdowns I've ever had. Anybody that's played ball with me, that's close to me, knows I kind of overthink things. Whether it be for one thing or the other, trying to place the ball too much or, worried about Will Addington says hustle is free. That hurts. It's true. It's so true. But, I beat myself there for sure. But yeah, I don't even know where I was going with that. I don't know. Anybody knows I'm a head case, especially Brian. Brian gets on me all the time when we go hit BP because I'm way too hard on myself. I had it in my head all day long that I was going to swing my wildfire flex. Gabe and I have been kind of passing the wildfire flex back and forth. He loves it. Got one of his own, but he didn't want to break his in, which they take 20 swings to break in. But he didn't want to break his in, so I just loaned him mine. But, we most of the time here lately we've been playing league together. So, dude, come on. So I've been letting him use it, and he keeps it in his bag for when he goes and plays somewhere that I'm not there. I picked him up that morning. He rode with us to go play, even though he didn't play. He rode with Brian and I. And I told myself when I stopped at his house, I need to get his bat. I need to get my bat out of his bag that's in his car. And I was, dude, it's 4:30 in the morning. The last thing I'm thinking about is getting a bat out of the car, even though I told myself when I left the house that's what I needed to do. We got to Brian's house, and I realized I'd forgotten the bat. It's like, oh, God dang it. No big deal. This will be fine. And the whole time I'm thinking to myself, I don't have my bat. 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 I don't know why. I just absolutely melted down. Like, I swing, you see it on the YouTube channel. I swing, freaking 50, 60 bats a year. But for whatever reason, I had a mental block on swinging anything but my bat. Bounced around to a few different ones. And then finally it said, screw it, and grabbed a bat and just started swinging away. I grabbed PJ's. He's got one of the ASP legits. I think is a bazooka, by the way. But it's a 26. I really like heavier 27s. But I just wanted something that I could get a familiar feel with as far as performance goes. And as far as performance and a feel, I'm a big feel guy. I need to have a bat feel good in my hands as far as like feedback goes. I knew what I was getting with that ASP, so I grabbed it and swung it a few times. And then I had that ball that I popped up straight to the pitcher. And then I had the other one that I cued back to the pitcher, and that told me, like, look, you suck. You're making excuses. You're making an idiot out of yourself. Just pick up a 27. I forgot I had a 27 Supermax Primo in my bag, so I grabbed it and managed to have a decent last game. But I have never in my life felt like such a mental block when it comes to softball. It was very frustrating. I'm sure it was frustrating, like I said, to be anywhere around that in the lineup, be around me as a player. I didn't really take it out, on anybody screaming or yelling or smashing or anything like that. But it's just frustrating. I think I do kind of hold myself to a higher standard because I do this YouTube stuff, and it's like, oh, you got to show out every time you show up at the batter's box. But sometimes you just got to, be willing to be yourself a little bit, and that's, why I don't mind posting the games. I've had a lot of bad games this year. Just I don't know if I'm not playing a lot. I don't know if I'm overthinking it or what, but I have no humility. I'm not trying out for any teams. I'm not trying to make the conference or anything like that. But it's whatever. I have nothing to hide, so that's why I post that stuff. And these games will be up tomorrow with those exact clips. There's going to be nothing missing from them. But the absolute mental meltdown that I had from that is by far one of the worst I've ever had. And it is all Gabe's fault, just like PJ said. He said he blamed Gabe for everything that day. Gabe didn't even play, and he took the blame for almost everything. Poor guy. So yeah, and I got PJ's shins. Wrote down right there, man. I got you right there. PJ's shins. Dude, so people talk about the 44 core ball and how good it is, and the 52 sucks and this and that, and talk about how the 52s bounce here and it's a more dangerous ball. I don't necessarily know what it was with the fields this weekend at Happy Rock. They weren't bad. It's not like they were terrible or unmaintained fields or anything like that. They were just really dusty fields with a lot of loose dirt on top of them, and they'd played a lot of games on them. At some point, I feel like they needed to maybe just hit them with a drag, do something to just kind of cover up the footprints and things like that, because every footprint out there is an opportunity for a ball to take a bad hop on you. Like I said, the loose dirt and those 44 core balls just was not a good combination. I know I've seen a few other guys get ate up. That's not necessarily ate up with a bad hop or misplaying a ball or anything like that. But when you do get that bad hop and it hits you in the shin or it hits your hand or does anything like that, dude, it hurts. And it hurts bad. I mean, every ball that PJ wore off his shins was hit hard, and it just ridiculous. I think he got hit, like I said, 5 or 6 times. We had a pitcher get hit in the hand, jacked his hand up pretty good, and he gloved the ball. Just the 44 core ball is wild, man. Especially with the bats the way they are today, which I'll be able to segue right into my next topic here. Especially with bats the way they are today, I mean, really, everybody could benefit from hitting a 52 and be just fine. Yes, I know they don't sound as good in the heat, and they don't fly, and they don't make you feel cool and all that stuff. But really and honestly, I think a 52 is a better ball from an overall standpoint, especially if we're talking in terms of safety and things like that. Even if PJ gets ate up with these hops here just the same as he would have, sorry, PJ, I don't mean to keep singling you out. It just, I guess I'm using you as the example because you were my teammate for the weekend, and I feel for you for getting all of those bad hops right off of your freaking shins. Because, like I said, there was other people getting bad hops too and getting ate up with balls. And yes, maybe the 52 still would have bounced bad and you still have those bad hops, but if it hits you, it's not going to hurt nowhere near as bad. And I think that's something that everybody kind of overlooks sometimes is, man, you just don't know the difference in a ball, especially being a pitcher. You don't know the difference in getting hit with one or the other until you have been hit with them. People can say, oh, I've been hit here or there with a 52. Wear one pitching sometime. I got hit in the thigh with like right in the middle of my thigh with a 52 one time. And I mean, I had a bruise that ended up being about the size of a basketball. By the time it spread out, it was humongous, but it never hurt. It never got tight. It never got a big knot in it. But I've been hit in similar places with a 44 as I have a 52, and I've still got knots. I can't even remember who it was. I don't even know if anybody listening to, or subscribed to this channel was even there that day. I got hit like right next to my knee, like on the lower part of my knee with a classic M one day. God, maybe had to be 7 or 8 years ago, and I've still got a knot there. It's just one of those things. I don't think it's ever going to go away. I mean, you've got guys with like there was a pitcher, Buckshot, a couple years ago playing in the conference, got hit with a stadium ball through shin guards, and he ended up with necrosis in his leg. The damage to his leg was so bad, and it wasn't that he didn't let it go. It just happened. He ended up with necrosis in his leg, which for those that don't know is dying skin cells. Like his skin cells literally just died from all the damage that they took. So the hard balls are fun to hit. Yeah, they're probably a little better, overall. If you're a hitter, sure, everybody wants to hit a hard ball. But be fair and play both sides. I strongly recommend the 52s. But like I said, I was going to roll that in my next segue here. Probably going to be my last topic so I can get going. U-Trip in their bat changes. I mean, they're going to redesign everything and, make I don't know about necessarily new testing standards. I mean, I'm sure as far as like the laboratory standards go, yes, they'll probably change stuff there because they're going to change the makeup of the bats, because the way they are right now, bats are, testing at 240, 245, maybe even some are lower, right out of the wrapper and failing. For those that don't keep up with a lot of compression testing stuff, there's a video on here. I'll try and link it if I can remember. It kind of goes over what a compression tester is, what it does, and putting different bats and stuff in it. But just to keep up to speed with the guys that do know what I'm talking about here. What's up, Andy Cantu? No, you're the best. So yeah, the pass fail iron right now is 220. And basically what they're wanting to do is move it to 240. I'm sure there's going to be some kind of changes to how bats break in and how accelerated that is, because that was the whole point. God, that's so loud, and I am so sorry. Because that was kind of the whole point of changing stamps to go to the USSSA 2012 thumbprint stamp was, you would be able to have a bat that would get down close to failing, and then once it fails, it breaks. Now, what changed between here and there, I don't know. But, bats are getting down. Like, I'll be honest. Like, my standard issue right now, I've still got that thing. It's still kicking somehow. I mean, it's got to be down in the 180s. My Wildfire Flex is below 200. But, if you're not playing anywhere that tests, there's no reason you can't use them. But it's just the fact that bats are just insane these days and stuff like that. I mean, even a bat testing 220 hitting a classic M ball on a 75-degree night is just insane. To me, something has to be done. Like I said, speaking, kind of being the devil's advocate as far as safety goes, something's got to be done. I mean, you got pitchers that are absolutely defenseless sometimes, and even infielders in some points. I guess it kind of goes back to like maybe like a composite hero thing. And is it going to make it harder for me to be a hitter? Yeah. But it's up to you as a player to adapt and overcome and, be better for that. When these bats come out, they're not going to be as hot. Well, maybe you can't hit as many home runs as you used to. You know what? That's fine. Then work on hitting a gap or work on improving your home run swing so you can get that home. So you can start hitting your home runs again. Evolution is part of everything. It's part of slow pitch softball. It's not the first time it's happened. It's not the last time it's going to happen. The best thing you can do is, hone yourself in as a player, and don't fall back on. Sorry, I'm trying to use my words wisely here, because I always get this feeling that something's going to be used against me. Don't fall back on blaming equipment like I just did for the NSA Worlds thing, feeling like a fish out of water. Don't go back to blaming the equipment. This bat's not as hot anymore. I can't hit home runs or anything like that. Be a better ball player. That's all it dwells down to. I think change is needed, absolutely. So supposedly U-Trip is going to go to what they call it, the Pro M, which is a lighter, less dense ball, and it's going to be a 44-375. A less dense ball is safer because it's not going to impact. Like when it impacts something, it's not going to get as deep. If this ball hits me in the chest, it's going to hurt, but it's not as heavy, so it's not going to go into me as far. And it's going to be a 44-375, something with a little higher core and compression to maybe kind of spread that hit out a little bit. I'm not really sold on a 44 being much different damage-wise comparing to a bat or a body than a Classic M, but, obviously these people do this for a living. So I think with the change of the ball, that's going to kind of help some of that a little bit. And the ball, also the change of the ball is supposed to help with them being more tolerable to the heat. They don't just get absolutely heat soaked, because anybody that's hit a Classic M that's been sitting in the sun, like on a tournament Saturday or anything like that, it sucks, dude. There's no way around it. That's what sold me years ago on hitting a 52. Was there was places we could still hit 44s and 52s, and the 44s would just sound like socks. When they banned the multi-layer balls, made everybody use single layer, so you couldn't use stuff like your microcell evils or your Dudley Thunder advances or things like that. I would much rather have hit a 52 because the microcell, the multi-layer technology, makes the ball withstand the heat better, so it stays harder. And if you don't think that's true, I want you to go out and buy just even a half dozen microcell balls. I think they still make ISA balls are still microcell, and I think there might even be a few other sanctions that might still use a microcell ball, or even some Thunder Advances. Go out and buy some, put them in your trunk, and go out and buy a half dozen of whatever is a comparable ball, like say a 44-375 or whatever. You buy two of the same ball, one multi-layer, one not. Throw them in your trunk and then get them out and hit them. You'll immediately notice a difference. That is what tells me that they got rid of those multi-layer balls because of safety, and they went to the 52 because of safety. Speaking in terms of like ASA, and U-Trip is going with this Pro M 44-375 in terms of safety, and they're making the bat changes for the same reasons. Players evolve, players are bigger, players are stronger. All of these other things play a big factor into that. Home run limits, I think, is another reason that safety is something that has to be addressed more. They're wanting to, cap home runs and penalize players. Yes, Jeremy Lane says senior softballs are multi-layer. Yes, they are. I think that's what I was trying to think of. There's a few different varieties of those that are all multi-layer. But is home runs are more of the essence these days, and bats are getting better and better, and it's becoming easier for people to hit home runs. Well, now you're running into, you got more people that need to keep the ball in the park, so you get big some oaf that can hit a ball 400 feet in his sleep, trying to level off and blow a ball through the infield because some guy that weighs 160 pounds led off with a solo and they've only got one home run left for the whole game. I mean, you do the math. It's safety is got to be priority for some of these sanctions, and I'm not saying that it isn't, but I love this move that U-Trip is doing. Bottom line, I guess I kind of went into that a little further than I wanted to. Sorry if I kind of rambled about it, but I've said for probably a year now, maybe a little more, that I think that bats are too hot. You got composite heroes, and that's why I love the 52. You got to earn a hit with a 52. I don't care what you're hitting it with. It doesn't matter. It's not going to go anywhere. People think 52s have special bats and this, that, whatever else. Use this stiff bat. Use this bat. Use that bat. It doesn't matter. You got to hit it or it's not going anywhere. Bottom line. So that's why I think the 52 was a good change. Obviously, playing more U-Trip now, I'm seeing more of the harder ball side of things. Even playing third base, seeing some balls go by, I'm like, man, I wanted nothing to do with that. In back in the day, I used to be a pretty decent third baseman, not so much anymore. But I'm just sitting here thinking, like, man, if I felt remotely defenseless at third, what's that pitcher feel like? And I'm getting a ball hit at me by someone that weighs 170 pounds. It's just not right. Change is good. Accept it. Jeremy Lane says, do I think it will lead to shaving bats becoming more common again? It never went away. Shaving bats never went away. Because that was kind of the other thing with people, wanting to change the home run limits and things. I'm sorry. Wanting to change I was reading something. Wanting to change the bat standards was it'll make them harder to alter. They'll break almost instantly. Cheaters are going to find a way to cheat. It's proven. They'll find another way to manipulate these bats just they have everything else. It's like the pure integrity is supposed to be the unshavable bat. And if anybody follows, which seems like everybody does, the God of bat shaving on Facebook, he can get into anything and he can alter it. So until a sanction goes to, I'm supplying these bats, nobody touches them, they stay here, because just like Don Cooper said best, the only way to control it is to control the equipment. You're not really going to have anything. As far as a controlled environment, bats go home with guys. Who knows what they come back as? Cheaters annoy me. But bat shaving never went away, and it's never going to. Bottom line, they'll find a way to, you triple think they'll design a way to make these bats to where they can't be altered without breaking or whatever else. Then it's going to come down to two things. They're going to find a way to do it, or the new thing these days is sleeving bats. You put a better sleeve in it, whether it be from like a senior bat or whatever else, just so that way when you cut it open, it doesn't look altered. People are getting better at that too. It's insane the measures that people will go to swing a shave bat, or shave bat, altered bat, to make them a better hitter. Whatever. I'm done talking about it, because all it's going to lead to is people asking more and more questions about this or that or whatever else, and that's the last thing I refuse to do on this channel, is educate and bring more light to the altered softball bats and balls and everything else. I refuse to shed light on that. I've talked about it too much. I'm going to hush up now. I've been on a pretty good tangent about this for a little while. See, Andrew Brown, just one thing. Kristen Yelich out for the year. As a Cubs fan, I hope they make a catch of cards. Make me feel better about a wild card. Oh, man. Come on now. Don't give me this Cubs fan propaganda. You can't do that to me. Which, by the way, I forgot to check and see if the Cardinals won. They were down 2-1 when I started this. I didn't want to get hit with a copyright because I had the game playing in the background. But the Cardinals are rolling right now. Absolutely, without a doubt. My only fear is that they're too hot, too early. I mean, we've still got a whole month of listen to me. We've still got a whole month of baseball to play, and they haven't even hit the playoffs yet. My fear is they're going to fizzle out and get to the playoffs and not do very well. Starting pitching, he's gotten better, but it's kind of fallen off here lately. But either way, they've been hitting the cover off the ball too. But I think they got too hot too early, but we will see. One other thing, comment down below if anybody is interested in doing some fantasy football, like a 10-team league, something like that. I know football season has already started. I love fantasy football. I absolutely love everything about it. It's so fun. Don't even have to be for money or anything like that. I had a league that I was going to be in with some guys from work. Stuff ended up falling through. We only had like 3 or 4 teams, and nobody wanted to do that. So I couldn't find anything else in time, because we decided that on like Tuesday, and the first game was Thursday. So we can get in late, start a league. If anybody wants to start a conversation in the comments down below. Yes, I know, Ryan Craven, I'm a week late. Listen to the podcast. But, it's never too late to start one. So if anybody wants to do that, I'm just trying to find some guys, start a league, talk some trash, have a little fun. So, somebody wants to fire that up down below, I'll be sure and chime in, but we can get us some guys and get it going. But that's it for the podcast. Sorry, it was kind of rambly and all over the place and got on a couple tangents, but I hope you did enjoy it. I always like sitting here chatting with you guys. I wanted to get this done one day last week, but like I said earlier, going to the day shift thing kind of had me all screwed up in my schedule and stuff, and working on free time to get it done. But I'm glad I got it done. So until next time, be sure to hit that subscribe button, turn on the notifications, which you probably did because it's how you found this, and I'll see you in the next one.